Cross to Warren. Found a little opening, and away he goes! Jalen Warren with the touchdown!
Welcome back to 5-Star Matchup. If you like what we do, make sure you like and subscribe now. And if you want to support the show and join our awesome Discord server, head over to patreon.com/5SMU. Welcome to Ford Field, site of the Steelers' triumphant Super Bowl 40 victory and home of the disappointing Lions with their furry backs against the wall. Will they keep their season alive, or will Pittsburgh stomp out the cowardly Lions' hopes? Enter Jared Goff, who, despite everything around him, continues to be one of the better starting quarterbacks in the league, and he's getting this one started with a 360-degree sack at the hands of the Matrix, Keanu Benton, who's setting the tone early. Great string out here by the Steelers' speedy D on 3rd and forever, and it's over to the boys in white. Enter the ascending Aaron freaking Rodgers, the Steelers' 21st-year man, and he's looking to continue his excellent play in a venue he knows all too well from his decades in the NFC North. Steelers are getting this one started with a little give-and-go action for the meatball that grabs a chunk, and a few plays later, facing a 3rd and 5, Aaron spots. Is that a wild elephant? No, it's just the largest man on the field, Darnell Washington, who hoovers it in and storms across midfield for the field-flipping gainer. A couple plays later, though, all-world pass rusher Aiden Hutchinson gets around the block chip and anything else you can throw at him, and he brings down Aaron to put him way behind the sticks. Good news is, though, the Steelers have the brass-balled, ice-blooded kicker with the heart of gold, and it's once again time to hit his music. Boz easily blasts a 59-yarder, and the Steelers stake a tiny 3-0 lead. Back to the Lions offense, and they're handing it to the usually dynamic Jahmyr Gibbs, who, whoops, still well behind the sticks on 3rd and 12. Goff finds Raymond underneath, and no, I don't love this. He squirts through for the big early conversion, and there's nothing more frustrating in football. 2nd and 7 now, Goff gets enough time to bake a Christmas ham, and he steps up and fires to his tight end for another chunk. Remember when he had a pass rush? 2nd and 10, the handoff goes to their 1B back, Montgomery Burns, and boo, they're saying boo Burns. Okay, maybe that one was a stretch, but whatever, you try making football puns all year every year. Lions set up in the red zone. 2nd and 10 here, Goff stands in a comfy cool pocket, and it's a picture-perfect replay of the previous pass. Tight end down the middle. Stop me if you've seen this one before. Unfortunately for them, though, on 2nd and goal, it's the buzzsaw. Jack Sawyer flying in for the Detroit shaking TFL, and woo, you love to see this from the talented Rook. Steelers might have found another diamond in the rough there. 3rd and goal goes nowhere again thanks to Sawyer, and of course the always aggressive Lions go for it on 4th, and they get nothing! The ever-sticky Peasy Jr. blankets Amon-Ra, and the Lions turn it over on downs after a long but fruitless drive. Steelers get it going with a youch. Well, that was a close one. Next play, Rodgers flips it out to Thielen for some breathing room, maybe run this on 1st, I don't know. And on 2nd, it's an easy little out to the easy little Calvin Austin, and the Steelers are on the move as we head already into the 2nd quarter. Handoff goes to Gainwell, who only knows how to gain well, and suddenly the Steelers' offense is finding its mojo. You just have to love what Gainwell has contributed to this team on a bargain basement deal. And if you like this one, just wait. Unfortunately, though, a few plays later on 3rd and 10, A-Rod can find nobody and hucks it out of bounds. Drive stalled, but at least they changed field position. Lions get started through the air, and it's oh so close to a strip sack for Alex, who played extremely well in the absence of his partner in crime today, but Goff gets it off in time, and it's a big completion to Jamison Williams to get Detroit rolling. Goff finds another few to Williams, followed by a bunch to St. Brown, and the Lions are donning their finest Hawaiian blue silks as they enter the business zone. Okay, chill, Alex. Beastly stuff for number 56. 3rd and 11, Goff and Williams are on different letters in the phone book, and even Dan Campbell isn't going for this one. Lions take the consolation kick and even the score. 3-all. Looking to respond, the Steelers immediately face a 3rd and 6, and yuck. Oh well, this drive is deader than the last people who saw the Lions win a championship. You better call a fair catch when Benny Sko is coming at you. Lions starting deep in their own zone looking to pass, but they forget about Godzilla Hayward, who laughs at their feeble attempts to block him and raps Goof for the cage-rattling sack. A couple more attempts go nowhere, and it's right back to Aaron and the boys in white. Rodgers dumps this one off to Jay, who slips the tackle for a few, but on 3rd and 4, it's the old man going down like a sack of 42-year-old bricks, and these offenses are anything but productive right now. And I might have spoken too soon. Goff dumps this one off to Nikola Tesla, who scampers across midfield, followed by another chunk through the air to Gibbs. Man, this guy is special in space, shades of Le'Veon Bell if you ask me, and the Lions are looking to add on before the half. Just after the 2-minute warning now, Goff standing in another relaxed pocket and fires a rope high in the end zone to his man Tesla, who snares it for the lead-stealing touchdown. Great pass by Goff, probably his best of the day, and I can't even say anything about this. Good coverage, better throw, and a nice snag to hang on through the hit. Just a good football play. Lions on top 10-3, but Steelers with plenty of time to respond before the break. Aaron gets a moving with Earth to DK. Aaron gets him going with a flip out to the Muth man, who's always ready and willing. Please use this man more, and the Steelers are on the move. Another one goes to that very same double Ocho, followed by one DK finally catches, and the Steelers are already nearing the edge of Boswell's infinite range. 3rd and 11, Rodgers gets enough time to find Adam Thielen for another conversion, and we're still alive, though time is ticking into the future. Now just 27 seconds left, Rodgers fires another one to Thielen, who's suddenly adding a lot to this offense. Still very little time left to score, though. That's okay, because with just a few seconds left, Aaron spots scat back extraordinaire Kenny G one-on-one deep down the sideline, and he hucks a bomb that the tumbling running back miraculously snags before getting up and galloping into the end zone. This is legitimately one of the best plays I've ever seen, and certainly a contender for the most incredible play of the year in the NFL. How does anybody make this catch, let alone a running back, and have the wherewithal to actually get up and rumble into the end zone? Kudos to the rest for getting it right, even though it took a review, but most of all, kudos to Kenneth Gainwell, who deserves to get paid with a capital P. Spectacular play changes the complexion of this game as we head in for orange slices and pretzel rods with the score tied. Yeah, Patreon. Do it now. Patreon.com/5SMU. Join our Discord server. I don't know, whatever. Into the second now, and why not get things started with a third down to the man I used to call DeKalen, but certainly won't anymore? And why not another one to Adam more than a Thielen? And the Steelers are coming out super aggressive in the second half. 1st and 10, they hand it to the all-electric solar-powered meatball, and would you look at this blocking? I've been hard on the Steelers' inconsistent running game all year, but I can't lie, they had some absolute beauties on the ground today, and this is no exception. Pittsburgh set up nicely in the business zone. Facing a 2nd and 8, Rodgers figures why not flip it to Darnell Washington, and whoops! The wild elephant loses his Galactus-like grip on the ball on his way to the turf. I don't think he's used to being taken down, and the Lions recover for the horrifying turnover. Great drive wasted, but hey, at least they're starting with their backs against the wall. Immediately facing a 3rd and long, Goff stands in way too comfortably in his own end zone, and I hate to be a bugger, but it's Kyle Duggar shooting through, and for once it's not the car, but the quarterback who's found on road dead, and it's 2 points for the good guys. Rodgers gets it going with a little dump off to Gainwell. Why is there never anyone around him? I think I'd cover him if I was the other team, but I'm not, so who cares? Steelers across midfield faster than you could say the Lions blew their window last year. 1st and 10, Aaron takes a deep drop and fires a bomb 60 yards down the sideline to his pal MVS, who can't quite pull it in. Maybe a smidge too much on the throw, which in itself is amazing for a 42-year-old quarterback, but damn would this have been a beaut. 3rd and 9, the old man scrambles, but obviously can't make it. But it matters not, because he gets close enough and the suddenly aggressive Steelers go for it. And get it! Crack a cold one, it's the return of Stone Cold Scotty Miller. Aaron spreading it to any and everyone that's willing these days. A couple plays later, it's another gotta have it 3rd, and what do you know, it's another even better catch for Scotty, who is absolutely getting beamed up for this one. Who'd have thunk Scotty was gonna hit the toe drag swag on this fine day? Warren hits a wall on 3rd though, and I mean, if you're gonna go for it before, you might as well go again. And you know, it's like I always say, if you can't fake the Spartan play and hand it to Kenny G for a tricky little conversion, what can you rely on? Gorgeous permutation of the Steelers' tush push, and I can't believe we finally have a creative offensive coordinator. I may not love everything about Art Smith, but I would never call him uncreative. Sadly though, Darnell Washington doesn't know his own strength as he completely obliterates this guy on a screen to free DK. Smaller man probably doesn't get this called, and Warren goes nowhere on 3rd, and after possessing the ball for nearly the entire quarter, the Steelers are held to another measly kick and a meager 5-point lead, 15-10. Into the 4th now, and the Lions are suddenly looking lost. Williams drops one on 2nd, Goff fires a wobbly quacker that's almost picked on 3rd, and it's right back to the Steelers with a chance to completely open this game up. And open it up they do. They flip it to the brand new solar-powered all-electric meatball himself, Jaylen Warren, who could go all the way. He follows the incredible blocking perfectly and rockets home for his first 45-yard score of the day, and the Steelers suddenly find themselves dominating in Detroit. Who'd have thunk this just a couple weeks ago? Steelers 22, Lions 10. Dan Campbell's Lions are never ever going to give up though, so they get it going through the air. Their run game was basically non-existent tonight, and a pair of passes gets them near midfield right away. A little giddy up and go to Raymond gashes the lures, and before you know it, the Lions are already looking to have the Steelers' 12-point lead. And if it works once, might as well work twice, so they go again back to Raymond, who I do not love, and he streaks completely untouched through the Steelers secondary for the game-changing touchdown, as I unfortunately lean forward in my chair again. You hate to see it, but something tells me the Steelers have more in their sack of toys on this fine winter afternoon. End around to Gainwell gains well, followed by a flip out to the very same Jazzman, and the Steelers are already cooking again. Penalty knocks him back, but it matters not as Aaron Rodgers is the back shoulder GOAT, and he drills one to his number one man DK, who snags it across midfield to get the penalty yards and more back. Now onto the 45-yard line. We know for a fact that there's nothing Steelers running backs love more than a 45-yard score, and no, don't adjust your set. He could go all the way. Jaylen Warren fires through the expertly blocked hole for yet another 45-yard touchdown, the Steelers' third of the day, and it looks like a 12-point lead is back on the menu. Steelers 29, Lions 17 as time ticks down in the fourth. Back to the Lions and their desperation throws, and Goff does his very best to end it early on an almost pick to Chuck Clark, who can't snag it, and the Lions avert disaster. Speaking of disaster, the only thing the Steelers can't do is let them score quick, so what do you think they'll do? Goff finds Williams for a giant chunk across midfield, followed by another one near the 30, and with minimal time gone, Dan Campbell's crew is looking to pull back into this game. Conversion goes to Ferkser, not sure why Romo and Nance kept mispronouncing this very phonetic name, and who cares anyway, because on the very next play, Goff flips one to the ridiculously dynamic Jahmyr Gibbs. Seriously, this dude is electric, and he comes oh so close to scoring. Beautiful PBU by Ramsey keeps him out momentarily. Even better PBU by the big man on second does the same. But on third, Jeremiah Moon stumbles on his way to cover Gibbs in the flat, and the killer back walks in for the lead-splitting score. Still a lot of time left here as the Lions pull closer, 29-24. Absolute madman Art Smith gets him going with a handoff to Jonnu that somehow grabs a chunk. Is there anything this guy can't do? I want to see him throw a pass, and the Steelers keep the clock moving. Another pitch and catch to Mount Washington nets another first, and the time just keeps ticking on Detroit's playoff chances. Another toss to Jonnu gets another first, but on 3rd and 8, Rodgers can find no one, so he hucks it out of bounds to lock in an easy field goal the Boz can make with his eyes closed and hit his... Somehow, someway, Boz doinks a 37-yarder indoors that he'd probably make 999 times out of 1,000. And because of course they do, the Lions live to fight for one last desperation drive. Detroit gets going on the ground with a run that goes nowhere. Seriously, shout out to the Steelers' amazing effort on Run D today. Apparently Derek Harmon really is that good. But after the 2-minute, Goff grabs most of what he needs on a very close to incomplete incompletion. And it's the latest flag throw in the history of flag throws. Kyle Duggar looks to have made the game-stealing PBU until 45 minutes later when the flags rain down from off screen. Alright, upon examination, this is definitely a pass interference, but come on refs, don't play with me like that. Now, that'll likely be the last controversial ref thing today though, right? Alex trips Goff, why? And the Lions are going to score, aren't they? Detroit schemes up a little get it and go for their very best player, Amon-Ra, who was mostly silent today, and he follows his blocking deep into Steelers territory as my heart begins to pound out of my chest. Goff hits another to Tesla for a first, and as time ticks and ticks away, it's becoming very apparent that this will be the deciding drive. One way or another, it's ending here. First and goal, Goff rolls and fires to the wide the open St. Brown for the... Wait, there's a flag! Detroit rightfully gets called on the pick play, not sure I've ever seen so many of these called in one game, and back it right up. Lions down, but not out. False start knocks him even further back, and the Steelers can taste it. Goff gets most of it back with a little one to Gibbs over the middle, but uses their final timeout, and now just about any play in bounds will end it. 2nd and 10, Jared waits and fires incomplete as I hyperventilate and shout, "One more play," repeatedly at my screen. 3rd and goal, and Goff fires a great throw high to his man Tesla, who sadly fails him. Ball falls harmlessly to the turf, and we look at the scoreboard to see 4th and goal with just 6 seconds left on the clock, setting up our 5-star
Play of the game.
Campbell and the Lions. Can they pull it off with the season in the balance? Goff fires at the 1. He didn't get across, but there are flags down. Ball ends up in the hands of Goff. He goes across.
However, after a bunch of confusion and a ton of explanation, the Lions come away fruitless at the goal line. While Goff eventually does score, I would argue the forward progress was stopped before the lateral. It matters not, as the offensive pass interference negates everything that came after it and ends the game with zeros on the clock. Steelers hold on to win a nail-biter, and the Lions limp away with thorns in their collective paws. Say it with me, your Pittsburgh Steelers are 9-6. Well, it wasn't easy, and it wasn't even that pretty, but your Pittsburgh Steelers walked into Detroit and just about ended the ferocious Lions season about a month and a half earlier than they had hoped. Just like the last 2 weeks, the Steelers are continuing to look like a team that is finding itself at just the right time. The pass game has been working beautifully these last 3 weeks now, as Aaron's wrist has healed and the additions of Thielen, MVS, and suddenly today the injection of Scotty Miller have enabled them to spread teams out and lean more and more on Aaron's elite processing skills. And today it was the run game's turn, as Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell combined for, count 'em, 3 45-yard touchdowns to absolutely smother the Lions' playoff chances. I don't want to overlook this. This was a game the Lions needed, and the Steelers truthfully didn't. Sure, every win matters, but in the grand scheme of things, the Steelers would have had plenty chance to pull out their division even with a loss today. It would have been easy for them to concede this one and go into the next 2 weeks thinking they'd need to beat their division rivals for their place in the postseason. The Lions, however, knew they needed this one to salvage any chance at sneaking into the very tight NFC playoff race. The Steelers snuffed out their hopes in their house and dominated a team that was a preseason Super Bowl favorite. I can't say enough about their performance today. The last 3 weeks back-to-back have been about as good of a run as the Steelers have had in the last decade, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't starting to believe in this team, just a little bit. I look around at an AFC in transition, and I see exactly one quarterback in the playoff bracket who's been to and won a Super Bowl. His name? Aaron freaking Rodgers. On to Cleveland with a chance to clinch the North. Here we go. Hey, I normally use this space to ask you to join the Discord server, but in light of the holidays, how about something different? I don't know about you, but I love dogs. I often volunteer to walk pups at my local shelter, and I think you should too. Can't get any easier than that. Spread some holiday cheer to some pups in need this holiday season. Happy holidays, friends.